We continue action here at the Centrum in Worcester, Massachusetts, where the super modified mud racing field has already become one of the quickest ever. And here's Tony Perotti out of Detroit, Michigan on the starting line with his machine called Let's Boogie. An incredible run carrying the front wheels in the air, but he takes down a finish line pole, and that will be an automatic disqualification. The tragedy is that the elapsed time, 1.749 seconds, would have been the quickest in the history of the sport, and that only means this pit is getting quicker. Mark Quatros in the Ford-powered Team Rancho Shock Absorbers funny car is ready. Another tremendous ride, and Quatros stops the Thunderbird with plenty of room to spare. An incredible pass. The elapsed time, 1.77 seconds. He'll qualify for the field.
The helmet comes off. Boy, did you pull it out. New track record, #1 qualifier, 177. You're on the pole.
Yeah, the motor didn't quite feel right. I got something that ain't quite right, but you know how it is. When you're on a line, there's no second chances. Go.
You're in a completely different situation than most drivers in that you can't see very well out of this thing, first of all. How did you feel about running into this bulldozer down here?
Well, you try and block it out. You line the poles up on both sides and mash the gas.
You did the job, buddy. #1 for the board.
Thank you, Bret.
Moving on to the starting line, an amazing man in mud racing, Melvin Brown.
You can imagine the expense and effort it takes to campaign a super modified mud racer from coast to coast. But think of the amount of money and determination it takes to run 2 complete operations week in and week out on the tour. Melvin Brown out of Ohio is one of the only drivers to take advantage of an obscure rule in the U.S.HRA Association rulebook that allows a driver to campaign a maximum of 2 vehicles at each event. And every week you'll find Melvin jumping in and out of the driver's seat in pursuit of a world championship. Melvin, obviously everybody has to ask you, why 2 cars?
2 times the fun.
Is it just a matter of making more money and just the enjoyment of the sport, or is there a specific reason in running 2 different machines at one race?
My goal is to get about 4 passes tonight. That's what I like to do.
So it enables you to learn more about the racing surface by running 2 cars and figure out things for the next event?
Yeah, it's a game of numbers. Early numbers is there.
2 completely different race cars, 2 completely different engines, both campaigned by 1 driver. It's truly an incredible job of determination that has already paid off for Melvin Brown.
And determination is what he's going to need right now in the Blue Max fuel-injected, nitrous oxide-injected Jeep funny car. He must go 1.795 seconds or quicker to make the field. And he shuts the engine down well before the finish line. Again, concerned about going out of bounds, and the elapsed time will not be good enough to get in. You can see on the replay, the engine was again dead well before the poles. The elapsed time, 1.939 seconds, won't be good enough. But on the line, one of the most savvy of the mud racers.
While there aren't many full-bodied machines left in the sport of mud racing, the 1985 world champion in this sport, David Ray, in the Midnight Magic Ford, probably exemplifies the state-of-the-art in this particular type of machine. While Ray doesn't get a chance to tour as much as he'd like to on a nationwide basis, he is still considered one of the true threats in the world of super modifieds. Dave, you're one of the last guys that stuck with a full-body truck. Is there any particular reason for it?
Yeah, kind of. I'd like to see if I can make a full-body truck go just as good as one of these little buggies out here.
Is there an identifiability factor with the Ford body?
Yeah, everybody kind of likes to see a Ford pickup truck come out or a Chevy pickup truck or something of that sort, you know?
As opposed to the lightweight machines that really don't have any identifiability.
You got it, right there.
You've got the same kind of engine, if not more so, plenty of power than everybody else. It's state-of-the-art. What's the difference between your machine, say, and Tom Martin's?
There's not a real lot of difference in the machine itself. It's basically the way they're set up because, you know, you got to change a lot of weight more with a pickup truck versus a little buggy.
And I should point out that this thing weighs substantially more than most of the trucks. Is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it can be a big advantage if you have a real firm track. You can make it hook a lot harder because you can take and put all the power right to the ground.
You've been in this sport since the very beginning, and as we pointed out, a past world championship resides with you. What has been the biggest change you've seen in the evolution of this sport?
Basically, the cars are getting lighter. There's a lot more money going into the cars, a lot more technology. You know, everything is drawn on computers now and figured out right to a T, you know?
You've always seemed like you actually enjoyed the building of the truck more so than you did the driving.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, you get to build something with your own 2 hands to go out there and compete, and, you know, it makes you feel good if you do real well.
Will we ever get a chance to see you on a full national tour again?
Yeah, next year I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to be someone to reckon with, I guarantee you that.
The name Midnight Magic has a tremendous reputation in this sport, and deservedly so. But David Ray is a soft-spoken man who prefers to let his truck do the talking. And believe me, it will talk.
We've already got a supercharged Ford #1. Dave Ray's identical four-wheel drive Ranger must do the trick with one of its quickest runs ever. A great run on the brakes hard. He stops it within 5 feet of the DQ line. A lot of tire spin off the line. The elapsed time, 1.818 seconds. He misses qualifying by 23 thousandths of a second. Byron Zinke out of Iowa and the Bad Habits Supercharged Chevrolet makes his bid. The track now developing ruts. Its entire distance may have slowed Zinke on this one. He's elated with having stopped in the required amount of distance, but the elapsed time is not going to be good enough to qualify. 1.833 seconds. It was a straight arrow run, but the machine did bottom out several times. So Zinke will not qualify for this, what has become one of the quickest super-modified fields in history. #1 qualifier, Mark Quatros' Team Rancho Ford Thunderbird. The #2 spot goes to Jeff Backer, then Chad Miller and Jeff Sturkin. But coming up, we've got more monster truck action as well as super-modified championship racing and the incredible Ernie Adams. Don't go away.